Welcome back to the Big Sunday Show. So a shocking revelation from Special Counsel John Durham's investigation into the Trump-Russia hoax today. A new legal filing claims Hillary Clinton's campaign paid tech workers to infiltrate Trump Tower and White House servers in an attempt to link the former president to Russia. A portion of that filing reads this, quote, Tech Executive 1 and his associates exploited this arrangement by mining the EOP's DNS traffic and other data for the purpose of gathering derogatory information about Donald Trump. So you'd think a story this big would lead the Sunday talk shows, but not one of them mentioned it. Okay, so Laura, I want to start by reading a statement from former President Donald Trump, if we can pull it up. He says, let's get it up on the screen here, what Hillary Clinton and the radical left Democrats did with respect to spying on a president of the United States, even while in office, is a far bigger crime than Watergate. Laura, I want to get your response because you lived through this.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Nisha. You can add this to the ever-growing list of things that Donald Trump was right about. You can generally bet that the more hysterical the media becomes about something that Donald Trump claims or said, and the more they mock him over it, the more likely it is that it was right. And this is no different. This is what the Democrats do. They weaponize the system against their opponents, and they basically never get called on it. Somehow, it continues to get covered up. They've been doing it, as you just said, to Donald Trump and our entire family since the day he came down the escalator and announced he was running for president. How many times have we seen them desperately, breathlessly try and take down Donald Trump any way they possibly can, whether through impeachment, this ridiculous Russia collusion hoax, and, you know, they're still continuing to do it. You have the Attorney General of New York right now, Letitia James, continuing to harass our family, Trump Organization employees, etc. So this is nothing new. I am so happy to see this report come out. I think every American should rejoice that people are finally getting called out on this. And my father-in-law is exactly right. Whoever is behind this should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
I want to bring up this 2016 tweet from then-candidate Hillary Clinton. We dug this up. Fox News did. This is the day before the election. She actually is pushing this entire theory. She tweets, computer scientists have apparently uncovered a covert server linking the Trump organization to a Russian-based bank the day before the election. Leo, this bombshell, where does this move the investigation now, and what should someone like Hillary Clinton be thinking?
I'll tell you right now, she should be worried. She better make sure she got those fall guys, the ones who have currently been indicted. They take the full rap or not disclose any of their names. Let me sit here and say this. As a lawyer, that court filing, that means there's evidence, Aisha, solid evidence that the Clinton Foundation was basically involved in criminal activity. Now, who are the players involved? We don't know. It depends on those fall guys, those individuals who have already accepted admission of guilt. The key here is this. This is complete vindication for the Trump team and for President Trump. And I'm proud of that because Trump went through, excuse my term, hell for 6 years and continues. And you have, as Laura said, you have a attorney general who campaigned on the obvious motivation of going after President Trump. I mean, the public needs to wake up. And one final point. Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes should apologize. Donald Trump went on that program, made the accusation, and Leslie Stahl said, what are you talking about? What evidence? Shame on you, Leslie Stahl. Shame on you, alleged, credible 60 Minutes, because you've been exposed as part of the agency of the Democratic Party.
Actually, here is that Leslie Stahl soundbite, along with other members of the media. Let's watch.
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Donald Trump and William Barr promised that Durham would expose huge corruption, but he hasn't done that.
Is apparently an ongoing, concerted Republican and pro-Trump project to try to turn the investigation of the Russia scandal into some kind of scandal itself.
Oh, no. OK, wait till the Durham report comes out. And and then nothing happens, and they just move on to the next conspiracy theory. It is never going to end. And guess what? People who want to believe that BS are going to believe it.
Yeah, so just like Laura said, I mean, everybody thought Donald Trump was a conspiracy theorist. Joey, where are all these people now?
Well, the ones at CNN, some of them in that screen aren't even working there for other reasons. Listen, this is devastating news, not for not for just Democrats or Hillary Clinton, but for our country. I mean, we've had all this talk about free and fair elections. We have Americans that want to get in a fight in a grocery store line because some believe the election was stolen and some believe it was colluded with Russia. And the key here, the common denominator, is that it's easier to have all this inflamed rhetoric than to sit here and say, what's the responsible way to make sure we handle ourselves correctly in our elections correctly? This is the most important thing we can do in our country, is claim power over the elitist by our vote. And we have big, important elections coming up. I don't have much faith, even in the justice system, to make something come from this evidence, honestly, as far as punitive or retroactively. But, man, I really hope it has an effect, a positive effect, on elections moving forward. We have to have faith in our elections, and one of the ways that we can do it is know the people running for office are honest brokers, not trying to cheat behind the scenes.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.